So we're just going to do a little mindful check-in. This is a reflection on your current state. It might be an emotional state, it might be a particular mental loop that you're experiencing, or a physical sensation. All of these can be captured in this little visual reflection. So you could do this as a daily practice. If you wanted to get yourself a nice little journal or something like that, that can be good. Or you could just do it when you're feeling a particularly strong emotion and you want to express it in some way. All you need is any kind of marker and some paper. It might just be a pencil and paper. If that's all you've got, that's fine. I've chosen to use oil pastels just because I kind of like their expressive quality. But anything you've got on hand is just great. So let's get started. So these are just oil pastels. That's what I'm working with today. They're a little bit like crayons, but a little softer. And so first of all, if you're working with a color palette, you want to check the colors and choose one which is kind of popping out for you today. And then just make some kind of mark on the paper that expresses a quality that you're experiencing right now. And then when you've done that, sometimes once you've made a start, the whole process gets a bit easier, because then you go, okay, so what else is present for me right now? What else can I add to this picture to more fully express my current state? So in this case, I notice perhaps kind of some level of calm or just the waves of calmness, and then underneath that I notice a few little a little bit of other stuff that's sitting with me underneath. And then as you can see, so even the speed or the way the marker comes to the page can express a certain quality. And this is just filling into some little splotches of anxiety. And each time, I'm going back to the palette, seeing, okay, which color matches this sensation that I'm trying to describe. And in the same way, how do I express that in a kind of abstract way onto the page? And here I'm finding some pinks and purples, and that's representing friends and family that I find supportive, and I can kind of sense them right now in that mindful way, their presence just as a little bit of underlying support. And then I feel like I want to make that color a little bit denser because it's quite a strong support, and I just kind of add to that until it feels satisfyingly dense. And then I realize that the influence of those people on my life isn't just in little pockets, it actually extends out into other places and spaces, so I extend it. These ones are little thoughts, the little squares. It feels like little pockets of sort of rigid thoughts sort of scattered throughout. So I'm just talking you through what's happening in my process, but of course you'll be finding your own colours and shapes to express your own experience. And here I'm coming back and just attending to myself. So this is another layer of the exercise that you can do if you choose to, is that once you sort of feel like the picture is complete, you can ask yourself, how can I support that experience? How can I make that a little better? And I'm just filling out some of those spaces with some nice bright yellow, and feeling like that's making me feel a little bit kind of more positive about the situation. And then I'll just ask myself, is there anything else it needs? And I'm adding a little bit more yellow around the outside. So if you like to, just to kind of round this process off, you could perhaps come through and label the image, the different parts of the image, or create a title for the whole image. just as a little reminder so that when you look back on this, it becomes a little bit like a map. And, sometimes in the future when you look back on images, you go, what was that? I can't remember even doing it. So it can be useful just to put a few labels in there to remind yourself about what it was all about at the time. So as you can see, this type of art making is not about making something beautiful or presentable for someone else to view. It's really about practicing that connection between the internal world and the external world, and translating or building that language of communication about what's inside being expressed outwardly. And as you do practice it, if you do something like this regularly, it does develop that language and the ability to kind of drop into these awarenesses and spaces more easily. So I do encourage you to practice it if it's something that you're enjoying.